This is The Scoop for Wednesday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. As a measles outbreak spreads in Florida, the state's Surgeon General, Joseph Ladapo, is giving advice that's counter to federal vaccination guidelines. Now, WMNF's Chris Young reports that a South Florida member of Congress is calling for the Surgeon General to resign.
U.S. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz called for Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo's resignation at a press conference in Broward County.
But from where I stand, Surgeon General Ladapo needs to go.
Ladapo sent a controversial letter to South Florida parents. He told parents they have a choice whether they send their unvaccinated children to school amidst the outbreak. This is counter to federal recommendations.
To leave all of the burden of deciding whether to send their children to school if they are unvaccinated on parents is grossly irresponsible.
Measles used to be a major killer before the vaccine became available in the 60s. Wasserman Schultz was joined by Florida International University epidemiologist Mary Jo Trepka. She says measles could cause brain damage and is potentially deadly.
If somebody has measles and they're in a room, the virus can remain airborne for up to 2 hours after the person leaves the room. That's one of the reasons why it is so very contagious.
The Florida Department of Health confirmed a case of measles in Polk County this weekend. It's the 9th case in Florida. For WMNF News, I'm Chris Young.
Another pedestrian has been struck and killed on the deadly roadways of the Tampa Bay area. Tampa police say they're investigating a fatal crash of a vehicle hitting and killing a pedestrian around 6 this morning at North Florida Avenue and West Yukon Street. Police say the driver remained at the scene. Another pedestrian has been struck by a vehicle in Tampa Bay. Toronto Blue Jays reliever Eric Swanson has left the team to be with his family after his 4-year-old son Toby was hit by a car Sunday on Clearwater Beach. According to news releases from the city of Clearwater, the 4-year-old was in critical condition yesterday. He was struck by a 2024 Ford Expedition being driven by a valet driver at the Opal Sands on Gulfview Boulevard. The driver was cooperating with the investigation. Out of control Texas wildfires have shut down a nuclear weapons facility and prompted evacuation orders in small towns across the state's rural panhandle. The blazes were fueled by strong winds, dry grass, and unseasonably warm temperatures. A bill that would require the history of communism to be taught in Florida's public schools, potentially in grades as low as kindergarten, is ready for consideration by the full Senate. The Senate Fiscal Policy Committee approved the bill yesterday. It would direct the State Department of Education to prepare and offer educational standards for communism history instruction. Florida students currently can get lessons on communism in high school social studies courses or in a 7th grade civics and government course. State budget talks continued yesterday. Senate and House negotiators have quickly settled issues ranging from money for tourism marketing to school safety. Most of the work on the fiscal year 2024-25 budget is taking place behind the scenes, but differences remained on numerous issues like Economic Development Fund, law enforcement recruitment bonuses, and water projects. Issues that are not resolved will be sent today to the House and Senate appropriations chairs. The Florida Senate Fiscal Policy Committee signed off on a proposal that would create a compensation program for survivors of abuse while in the state's care at the Dozier School for Boys in North Florida. The survivors are known as the White House Boys, and they still struggle when recalling the mental, physical, and sexual abuse they endured. The bill would steer $20 million to the survivors. Today it will be partly cloudy, hot and windy with highs in the low 80s. Tonight mostly cloudy with overnight lows in the mid 60s. And tomorrow cloudy, breezy and warm with highs in the high 70s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.